Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we are filming a little book review of the Invocations by Krystal Sutherland. This one was released on the 30th of January, so it is a little while ago, but I got it a bit late, so I am posting a review now. I actually got an ARC from the publisher, so thank you so much to them for sending this to me, and I felt really cool and I was very excited to read it. Even though I have not read House of Hollow yet, which I know is the most known book by the author, I do have House of Hollow on my shelves, but I haven't gotten to it yet. I was still curious about this one, and if they want to send me an ARC, I'm not going to say no. So, here we are with it. I think it is a standalone. There's like nothing announced that it is supposed to be a sequel or anything. It doesn't need one. And it follows three girls that you can kind of see on the cover. I thought there was just one girl here at the moment, and then it's like two in the back as well. It is YA kind of mystery thriller, but also it has magic because we do have witches and demons. So take that as you will. And it follows, as I said, three girls. They want different things. We have Sarah, who wants to resurrect her sister from the dead. We have Jude, who wants to return to her really rich family, but she has kind of been an outcast from them because she has cursed herself with a demon that is now connected to her that basically just brings havoc and makes her health really, really bad. And she wants to get rid of this demon so that she can go back to her super rich family and live her life as she used to again. And then last but not least, we have Amir. I don't know exactly how to say her name, who is a witch. Her whole coven was killed by witch hunters, and she's just now living basically nowhere, and is living off helping women with invocations. And that means that she basically she hires out her, I was gonna say, services, and she writes spells. These invocations is written into people's skin that gives different abilities, or like a different, I was gonna say, skill or some sort of thing, hopefully a positive thing for them. And this do makes it so a demon is connected to them, because you do get this power from a demon, and it does like they do kind of feed on them. So yes, it is a dark side to this, but a lot of women that does this doesn't kind of have a choice, or just maybe they are power hungry, who knows. I mean, I was kind of tempted, I was trying to think when I was reading it, like what kind of deal I would have made with a witch and a demon to make it worth it. I can definitely see a lot of situations how it could be I was gonna say, tempting and definitely a thing that I could have done situations. It is a very, I was going to say, feminist read in a way that it talked a lot about how a lot of women don't have a choice, like coming from abusive homes, coming from abusive situations, coming from situations where they are not in power, where they need a little boost to come further in this world. Because as we know, we are in a world where it's hard to be a woman in most all situations. I was gonna say Amira wants to help these women getting out of these difficult and toxic situations, and she's trying to help them and give them opportunities. At the same time, we have I was gonna say a women killer, because he goes around killing women in this world, which are Amir's clients. So she's trying to help these women out of these situations, and someone, a man, is ruining this. So it's a lot of, like, I was gonna say, commentary of how men treat women. There's a lot of commentary of how women's place is in the world, and then we follow these three different young women in very different situations coming together to find out the killer, and also just cool witchy power. So I thought it was done incredibly well, this balance of these characters, of their motivations, and I thought the powers and like the witchy stuff was really cool and fun. There was a lot of sadness to the book because everyone has experienced different losses and very intense trauma, but the way they found power in themselves and each other was really beautiful, like the friendship and also the sapphic romance. I was so for it. Oh my goodness, goosebumps, because I just loved them all together. I loved how they communicated. I loved how they started to care for each other and trust each other. I loved their ridiculous plans that I was like, there's no way this is gonna go well. And they were just like, well, let's just do it anyway. It was so chaotic. And I saw actually the other day on Threads that the reason why YAs are so fun and easy to read is because most YAs are written like a movie. And I thought that was very interesting because I never thought about it that way before. And it is mostly right. Like, we have a set with these characters. We usually have like kind of a, not necessarily a quest, but kind of quest, like a mystery, a quest like, here the mystery is this murder mystery, and then we resolve it by like following clues and doing different things and getting to know each other, either way romantic or like in a friendship way. And then in the end, like you have like a scene of a revelation of like, I know I was gonna say that sounded terrible because I know most books are written that way, but it's just the way they are written. It's very like you can imagine most YAs as a movie really well. Not all books you can do that with. And I think like this is a perfect example of that, playing out scene for scene in my head. And it was just done so well, how it set up the story, how the scenes connected together. And I was just thinking about this book when I was not reading it. When I was reading it, I had such a good time. I thought it was such a solid read, honestly. I was very almost shocked of myself because I didn't imagine myself liking it this much. It just had the perfect balance of all the elements of the message you wanted to do, of the friendships, of the backstories, of like the can you call it magic system? It sounds really weird. And I just thought the balance of everything was just done so well. And now I'm sitting here like, dang, that was a really good book. And the only complaint I have is that the solution to everything or like the answers they get is a bit obvious in a way that like really, but at the same time it worked. Even though it was a bit typical and a bit stupid, it worked incredibly well for the story because we got this really like fun and battle / scene in the end that, a lot of noise upstairs, that just worked so incredibly well for the tone of this story. So I really loved it, guys, and I am almost shocked of how much I loved it because I honestly didn't think that I would fall that much for the story. I just think that the way the characters were written made me love them a lot, and if I didn't care that much about these characters and just seeing the different journeys and seeing this whole story coming to a close, I wouldn't have loved this as much. But I thought that it was just a really strong book. I thought that, as I said, it was a perfect balance of everything I want and need in a book. So I ended up giving it 5 stars. And I feel like I said that as a shock, and I'm kind of shocked myself because I'm like, I don't give 5 stars to books in general unless I love them. And I don't think, this sounds very weird, but I don't think it's like a new favorite for the end of time. I don't think it will be on my favorite list if I was gonna make one, but I do still think the enjoyment I have in it and how the strong story was, it deserves a 5 stars, and it's like a higher recommendation I would give to loads of people because honestly it just did everything that it wanted to do in a perfect way, in my opinion. Actually, I've remembered 2 more complaints. I wish that we got a more insight in Jude's leg because she had like this wound that didn't close and it was like disgusting and gross because the demon thing didn't go so well for her. And I wonder how things went with her leg after the events of the end. I feel like we could have got more insight in that. I feel like it should have been a consequence that, I don't actually know, but like that the leg should have stayed that way anyway. Not like super gross and open. I guess that would be unnatural because that seems like a way for infection. But in a way that like, I don't like full healing of I don't know, can you call it a disability? It was kind of a disability in a way. So that is a thing that we can reflect more on. It's also another thing in this book where women are the only one who can channel power. And man cannot use any power, any magic, which is why men are witch hunters, which is fine because I love that women can have power and men cannot. But there's always a question of like, what about trans women, etc. And then they actually asked this question in the book, and they said, well, demon doesn't care about, I was gonna say, what's between your legs. They care about who you are. So I was like, fine. So trans women can use power. Great, amazing. What about non-binary people? Because there was no answer to that. They didn't even have that discussion. What about people who doesn't have a gender, who identifies in different ways? Because I feel like that should have also been a thing. If you can take up the question of trans women, you can also take the question up of non-binary people. If you build a magic system upon gender, you need to have this discussion. And that did, like, I was like waiting for something there, but we didn't have that. I'm not saying that the book is terrible because of this. I'm just saying that it was having this conversation about gender, about women and men and their place in society. But again, non-binary people are excluded from that conversation. And that was a bit disappointing because I do think the book would have been stronger if I'd been able to carry that conversation as well. But that's just me. I still found the book incredibly fun, obviously. I have now just praised it to the ends of the earth. And I do think it balanced, as I said, the story, the characters, the fun reveals, and the emotions incredibly well. But it did lack 3 things: discussion of the leg, discussion of more than 2 genders, and I was gonna say villain. Because there were several villains, but a better one than like a Scooby-Doo reveal. But I still loved it. I still had an incredible time with it. And I would recommend it highly. Because you can enjoy your thing, but also criticize it. I don't know if people knew this, but you can. And I think that leaves us with what I want to say about the book. I enjoyed it immensely. I recommend it. Go out, have fun, enjoy. I think you should go and read it if the things I talked about sounds interesting to you. And you should see me in a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a witch emoji down below if you enjoyed this, because it's witches, basically. And you should see me soon. Ow, bye!